All right, guys, we are continuing with our digital SAT math practice, and we're moving forward with the next page here. One thing I forgot to put on the last video also, in addition to having your Blue Book practice tests here, right? Those 4 practice tests. You also have practice tests on Khan Academy, and not just practice tests, but you have practice. So you come here to courses. I think you do have to have an account, so you can just make a free account on Khan Academy, and you click on digital SAT practice, and I've got my digital SAT math here, and I can see what I have practiced on Khan Academy, where I got questions correct. I think I got 2 of these questions correct, so I got purple mode. If I continued practicing them and I got another question right for these topics, I'd get my little crown. These ones, I got 1 question correct if it's orange here. And these ones I missed. I need to spend more time studying those topics before I would actually go and take my SAT. So you can do the course challenge multiple times and bring up your score. This I just kind of spent a little bit of time playing around just to know enough to be familiar with it. But for this video, we're going to continue going with our practice questions. So number 7 says the function f is defined by the equation f of x equals 7x plus 2. What is the value of f of x when x equals 4? So I'm going to put that right into my calculator. And I said anytime that I see f of x, thinking y. I'm thinking y. So y equals 7x plus 2, and it wants to know what is the value of y when x is 4. Take it back home. When x is 4, it's farther up there. It's way up there. Oh, I went out of range. And I can see it right there. When x is 4, y is 30. So my answer here is just 30. And another way that might have been faster to put that in the calculator is to say, okay, what are my 7 and my x doing together when there's no symbol in between? That means they are multiplying, so I'm going to put times 4, and right there, y equals 30. Remember, it's your job to get as fast as you can at these. My job here on YouTube for you guys, I think, is for me to go slow and make sure that you've got your understanding. Your job, get faster at it, or pick your path of how you'll be your fastest at it. Question number 8. A teacher is creating an assignment worth 70 points. And all of these, it equals to 70, so I don't need to focus too much on that. The assignment will consist of questions worth 1 point and questions worth 3 points. Which equation represents the situation where x represents the number of 1 point questions and y represents the number of 3 point questions? So y is our 3 point questions, and 3 times the amount of questions, y. So the only one that's got that is D, and x is the 1 point questions. You've got your invisible 1 at the front of the x, so D is the correct answer. Remember, your SAT, ACT, CLT, all of these standardized tests, they go in order with the questions at the beginning being easier than the questions further along on the test. And then when you start the next section again, you'll be starting with the easier questions again. Question number 9 says right triangles LMN and PQR are similar, where L and M correspond to P and Q respectively. Angle M has a measure of 53 degrees. What is the measure of angle Q? So because our triangles are similar, that means that all of the what are the same. If they're similar, all of the angles are the same on those triangles. L and M correspond to P and Q respectively. L and M correspond to P and Q respectively. So it's in order, right? So if M in the middle is 53 degrees, they want to know what is Q also in the middle. What must it be? If this is in the middle and this is in the middle and the triangles are similar, then they are both the same. 53 degrees. Oops. And scrolling up here to question number 10. It says the solution to the given system of equations is xy. What is the value of x? So if we take this here and just copy it in just as is, y equals negative 3x and 4x plus y equals 15. The solution to a system of equations, right? Solution to a system of equations is where do the lines touch? So if we look here on our Desmos calculator and scroll, this is so cool if you're not familiar with Desmos. If I just click like anywhere close to where these lines are touching, a little gray dot pops up for me with the solution. So what is the x value? It goes in order of xy, so it's that 15. And they didn't even put a negative 45 on here to throw you off. They only put 45. So our answer is C, 15. Thank you, Desmos, for solving that for us. And question number 11. Which of the following equations is the most appropriate linear model for the data shown in the scatter plot? So when I'm looking here, right, what would be the closest linear equation? I've got a y-intercept at about 10 and a negative slope. So right away, C and D do not have a negative slope. Answer choice A has a y-intercept of negative 10. So the answer is B, where we have a y-intercept of positive 10 and a negative slope. If graphing is not your strong suit, where'd my eraser go? I think I have to make this a little bit bigger. If graphing is not your strong suit here, I want to show you how you can really quickly plug this into Desmos to find the right answer. So I would just take the equations y equals negative 1 and 9/10 x minus 10 and 1/10, and this is not a match to our graph here. So when you try B, the only thing that changes, that's a plus sign instead of a minus. You have a y-intercept at 5, an x-intercept, or a y-intercept at about 10, an x-intercept at about 5. That does match the graph here. So without even recognizing your slope and your y-intercept from your slope-intercept form for your linear equation, by copying the answer choices over, you can guess and check your way to getting that question correct. And now back over here to question 12. The graph of y equals f of x is shown. where the function f is defined by f of x equals ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d, and a, b, c, and d are constants. For how many values of x does f of x equal 0? That's asking you how many times does y equal 0? Anytime y equals 0, right, that's y equals 2, that's y equals negative 2, y equals 0 are your x intercepts. And how many x intercepts do we have? 1, 2, 3. Done. Question number 11. Vivian bought party hats and cupcakes for $71. Each package of party hats costs $3 and each cupcake costs $1. If Vivian bought 10 packages of party hats, how many cupcakes did she buy? So she spent $71. So whatever she did, it equals up to $71. Each package of party hats cost $3. And it said she bought 10 packages of party hats. So right away I know it's 3 times 10 for the party hats. Plus, she bought some cupcakes. C, cupcakes. How many cupcakes did she buy? Well, if she bought 10 packages of party hats for $3 each, she spent $30. And she spent $71. Each cupcake costs $1. So 30 plus how much equals to 71? And it's 41. And you can check that by saying 71 minus 30 is 41. Cupcakes final answer. That's what you would type in. There we go. And moving on to question 14. What is one of the solutions to the given equation? So right here, there's a couple of different ways you can put this in. I'm just going to treat this like a coordinate plane, like an equation, like a quadratic equation, right? I'm going to think of it as, y equals, instead of z, I'm thinking x squared plus 10x minus 24. And I want to know, when does y equal to 0? So just plug it in. Y equals x squared plus 10x minus 24. Oops, that's it. X. And I can see a solution right here. Y is 0 when x is 2. And I can zoom out and find another solution. Y is 0 when x is negative 12. So either of those, 2 or negative 12, would be a correct answer to question 14. And then continuing on to question 15. Bacteria are growing in a liquid growth medium. There were 300,000 cells per milliliter during an initial observation. So they started with 300,000 cells. The number of cells per milliliter doubles every 3 hours. Doubles every 3 hours. How many cells per milliliter will there be 15 hours after the initial observation, after the start? So we're starting with our 300,000, and then every 3 hours it doubles. What does double mean? At the 3 hour mark, doubles means we have to do what? Multiply by 2. And then at the 6 hour mark, it's going to double. So we got to multiply by 2. The 9 hour mark, the 12-hour mark, and the 15-hour mark. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got to multiply by 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So you can put that in here as 300,000 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Or you could say 300,000 times 2 to the power of 5, since the 2 is there 5 times. Either way, you get answer choice D. And then moving on to question 16, which expression is equivalent to 6x to the power of 8 y squared plus 12x squared y squared? And when you look at the answer choices, you can see that they factored out 6x squared y squared. It's the same on all of them. So when they factor that out, that's the same thing as dividing this by 6x squared y squared. And we can break that up into 6x to the power of 8 y squared over 6x squared y squared plus 12x squared y squared over 6x squared y squared. And now when we look at it this way, it's real easy to see what cancels out, right? A 6 over a 6 equals to a big fat juicy 1. Y squared over y squared, big fat juicy 1. Those cancel each other out. X squared over x squared, y squared over y squared. 12 divided by 6, right? Every fraction is a division problem. 12 divided by 6 is 2. And all we're left with here, x to the power of 8 divided by x to the power of 2 is going to give us x to the power of 6, right? When we move this from the denominator to the numerator, we subtract the exponent because they have the same base. And the reason why that works, what does x to the power of 8 mean? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 x's over 2 x's. Those two cancel each other out, and you are left with 6. So our answer is C for sure here. And while we're on this video, I did write down some lessons you can practice on IXL if you have an IXL account. So that's all I'm going to do here at the end. I'm going to put in some IXL lessons. If there's anything here that you want more practice on, you can make some time for yourself to do this and make a note. This lesson on IXL, something similar to practice, would be lesson VUT. And for question number, I'm sorry, not VUT, that I'm on the wrong page, is 72C. On IXL, this type of question where you're dividing polynomials would be lesson 72C on IXL. And question 15 on IXL would be lesson SNZ. I don't know that I would say that IXL is my first choice recommendation for you to practice. I would prefer you practice on Khan Academy, but if IXL is your comfort zone, I do have these lessons written down for my class. So question 14 on IXL, you can practice with lesson HW8. And question 13 on IXL is lesson YJT. Question number 12 on IXL. I'm going to recommend lesson HW8 again. Question number 11. I picked IXL lesson VUT. Question 10 on IXL, I picked lesson WV5. Question 9 on IXL, I pick lesson 6PD. Question 8 on IXL, I pick lesson YJT. Question 7 on IXL, I pick lesson R96. Question 6 on IXL, let me flip back on my notes. I pick lesson VNU. Question 5 on IXL, I choose lesson ZZB. Question 4 in IXL, I choose lesson R96 again. And if you look on IXL, they actually have like test prep recommendations. They give you these lessons, some different lessons in IXL to get you ready for SAT. But if you want things that look like these specific SAT questions, this was what I found was pretty close. So question number 3 on IXL would be ZAY. And when you're looking for a lesson in IXL, you just search for that 3-letter code and it'll pop up. Question 2 in IXL, I would recommend lesson V77. And then back to question number 1. In IXL, I would recommend lesson ZAV. IXL lesson ZAV. All right, guys, I will see you on the next video.